This is the weekly meeting of the Trusted Referral Network. We are a network of independent marketing, sales, and advertising professionals, service providers, essentially, around the country. And you've probably been to the website, so you can look people up by their business. With the next version of the website, you'll be able to find them by their name as well. And we meet, as I mentioned, weekly, although not everybody shows up weekly. Don't expect all 173 people to show up on a weekly basis. We have some very active members, mostly folks like those you see today around the screen. And those are the types of members we want, people that will engage, who value the interaction and networking with other professionals in the marketing space. The concept is that each of us has a niche, be it a discipline like search engine optimization, or maybe it's an industry niche like not-for-profits, like Howard does, or content strategy like Keith. And our clients need a broad range of marketing services, so we find ways to collaborate and refer business to each other.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And at this meeting, most of the time, we have a 15-minute showcase, which you can sign up for. And that person essentially gets a total of 15 minutes, usually 10 minutes, to go do a deeper dive into what they do and how they serve people and clients with me. But we do not have a showcase presenter today. So the rest of the time we usually spend giving each person 2 or 3 minutes to describe what they do, how they can help other members, what's new, what they're, what types of leads they're looking for, anything that might be specifically new about leads or projects they're working on. And so you'll get an opportunity to do that. I actually have you. So what I will do right now is put into the chat the order in which people showed up, more or less. So it's Henning, then Stacy, then Allison, you would go. And I will put a timer on for, let's say, 3 minutes. And we're not that strict. If you've got some questions, or feel free to ask, and I'm sure the members will be happy to answer them. And of course, that goes for the members as well. And certainly feel free to use the chat. But Henning, I'll put you on for 3 minutes. I'm going to switch to speaker view. Okay, give us an update. And while other people are speaking, if you could put yourselves on mute, because in speaker view, it highlights whoever is speaking.
Great,
okay.
Thank you, Michael. I've taken different angles to not always say the exact same things in every one of our calls. This time I'll take a wide detour into my past. I spent probably 25 years of my career in sales, leading sales teams in different companies. I started with Bayer, a German multinational chemical company, sold or was in charge of a sales team selling iron oxide pigments. Then I started working for a startup out of Overland Park, Kansas, and sold marketing services. We were essentially a search engine for chemicals, and what we were selling was the lead data that the search engine generated back to chemical companies. And then this business was acquired, and I spent the last 6 or 7 years of my corporate career with Underwriter Laboratories. And in that time, UL was building a portfolio of companies in the chemical safety space. So in addition to the chemical search engine, I sold authoring services and authoring software for SDSs, and a lot a lot of other products and services for the chemical industry, like assessments and that sort of thing. And during that time, I developed an appreciation for what constitutes great salesmanship and what constitutes great sales leadership, and grew increasingly opinionated about it. And I turned that into a business named Vendux. And Vendux is a play on two Latin words. Venditio is sales and dux is leadership. So again, very opinionated and focused on sales leadership. And what we do is we're essentially a matchmaker that places seasoned sales executives into growth stage companies. And what this does, it eliminates the usual trial and error process that a startup and a growing business goes through when they are building sales into a effective and repeatable process. And we, over the last 2 years, have built the largest talent pool of pre-vetted executives that are available for those interim and fractional roles. And we pride ourselves in always finding the perfect match, the executive that checks all the boxes. And they go to work as a contractor, 1099 contractor, most of them fractional, meaning part-time. Typical assignment would be something like 20% of somebody's time, 8 hours a week, 10 hours a week on a monthly retainer, open-ended, with an end goal in mind to be replaced by a permanent hire eventually. So that's what I do. And I'm always looking for businesses who are challenged on the sales side. Sales leadership or fractional sales leadership isn't always the answer, but more often than not, a lot of things in a business can be brought back to lack of proper leadership.
And B2B companies in particular with up to 6 salespeople is sort of a target?
Targets are anywhere between pre-revenue and companies with 6 or 7 salespeople, because at that point they require a full-time sales leader in most cases. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily only B2B. We also help direct-to-consumer businesses. We're not in retail or in those types of consumer-facing businesses, but wherever you have a business that is looking to sell directly to consumers, we also have the right executives on the roster.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, Stacy, then Allison, then Rajiv. Take it away, Stacy.
I own a website called Legal Copywriting Central. And we are when I first came to TRN, we were 5, I think with me 6. We are now 4 attorneys, and we're up to 11 of us, a team of 11 lawyers and paralegals, and we craft legal marketing copy for law firms and companies that sell to law firms. For instance, we have a client, SoberLink, who it's sort of like a breathalyzer, a portable breathalyzer company, and it's used in divorce cases where one parent is, has a challenge with alcohol. And so for that, a lot of law firms use SoberLink in their divorce cases. So we write their blog, their family law blog. So that's an example of a non-law firm client that we would work with. But as you all know, we also work with law firms and write marketing material for them, press releases, blog posts, anything that they use to market their businesses, video scripts, brochures. A lot of personal injury firms still use brochures, so we craft that as well. So anything they use to promote and market their legal industry content and copy, we create.
Stacey, are you connected with any there's a couple of web development firms that focus specifically on the legal market.
No, but I did reach out to the woman I can't remember her name, and we're going to link up at some point, but yes,
Brandy Knox.
right. Brandy Knox.
Yeah, she does a broader range of services with
work.
design focus. Yeah, and she comes out of she worked for a big law firm, but there are a few others. You might want to do some searches on, law firm websites or something, because there are some specialists in that space.
Yes.
And another person you should maybe connect to is Bruce Siegel, Segal.
I know that name.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't spoken to him in a while, but I'd be happy to connect you if you remind me.
Great.
I'll put
Yeah,
it
appreciate that.
in my notes as well. And congratulations, up to 11 people. That's fast growth.
Thank you.
Is this 11 full-time people or are they
Oh,
part-time?
no, they're independent. Everyone's an independent contractor.
Independent. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Still impressive. Okay, wonderful. Okay, Allison, you probably figured out the secret here to giving a little pitch.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. And thanks, Stacy, for inviting me. I've known Stacy now for a number of years. So I run a boutique branding, marketing, creative agency serving food and beverage and food tech brands with my business partner, Rory Tischler. It's called G&T Creative. I'll drop the link for our website in the chat for anyone who's interested. So Rory and I met working at the Food Group, which was a larger WPP agency working with larger CPG companies like Mondelez and Mars and companies like that. Me as a copywriter and strategist, and him as a creative director, art director, designer. So we started our own little agency about a year and a half ago, I guess, focused on serving kind of emerging brands and innovators. So by that, I mean, like either kind of startups or venture-backed companies, smaller brands in pure food and beverage and in food tech. So anything kind of tech related serving the food industry. So we've had, for example, a couple of clients in grocery commerce, hospitality technology, really anything like that. Rory worked at Food and Wine for many years and kind of came from that side of things. And I've worked a lot just in marketing for really various companies in the past few years, focusing a lot on food and beverage. So we do branding and messaging, and then ongoing marketing, like from PR, social media, digital marketing, content creation, really all kinds of things like that. So finding now that a lot of companies are kind of interested in having someone like us be kind of like their outsourced marketing team who might have downsized during COVID times, or for whatever reason, had to let go of marketing people, or just don't necessarily, it kind of makes more sense for them to use people like us to take care of a lot of their marketing strategy and the execution of it. So that's kind of like, we're in the planning stages of next year, kind of figuring out who we'll be working with on that basis. But always love just chatting about branding, marketing, messaging in general. So always happy to talk to anyone about that.
I have two people to introduce you to.
Oh,
One,
great.
Eileen Strauss, who of S2 Design. They are a package design company.
Oh, nice.
And they work a lot with CPG. And then a guy by the name of Terry Francis, who does market research a lot in the food industry.
Cool. Thank you. That sounds great.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay, would be Rajiv is next. Rajiv, you're up.
Oh, you got me wolfing down my lunch.
Late lunch.
Yeah, I know, late lunch. Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Rajiv Jadhav. I work for R Square Media. R Square Media is an award-winning online visibility company that helps clients be seen or not be seen. The be seen part of it is being seen prominently on your favorite platforms, whether that's Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, etc. So we're the people that help the clients with the content, as well as marketing that content so that it's seen prominently for specific keywords. And on the flip side, the not be seen is basically reputation repair, where we delete misinformation from Google, which could take a variety of forms, like bad press, bad reviews, and private information. Just to give you a small story, a client reached out a few months ago requesting for what would otherwise seem like a pretty benign link from Google. And the reason for that was she was in the job market. She got a job offer. It was a high six-figure offer, which was retracted because the company thought she was a criminal. Because when they Googled her, they saw someone that looked like her and had the same first name, but different last name. And that person that showed up has a criminal record. And that's why they retracted the offer quite hastily. So she then hastily reached out to us and said, help, and can you please get this deleted, which we did. And after that, she was able to salvage the situation. So that's an example of how something even benign, like, like a people finder, truth finder, Radaris, etc., can do a lot of damage if left untouched. So that's what we do. We offer a performance guarantee. So it's super simple for people to work with us. We're open to white label, of course. So happy to speak to anyone that does branding, PR, and that sort of thing. The ask would be for anyone that works with either corporate communications or crisis communication or crisis management. That's my ask. And I look forward to meeting with you, Allison, as our guest. Would love to get better acquainted and explore synergies.
Yeah, sounds great. Nice to meet you.
Rajiv, did I ever connect you with Corey Shapiro? You were looking at some point for family lawyers or divorce lawyers?
No, yeah, I was, but no, I don't think that's the first time hearing that name. So yeah, introduction would be great.
Okay, and the Liz Bazzini request, did that turn into anything?
Yeah, so we're still kind of like working with them as to figure out what the ask is.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Who is next? Ken, then Victor, then Howard.
Hi there. Good afternoon, everybody, or evening, or whatever. Ken Simon. I work with small and mid-sized companies, helping them understand who their customers are, what their needs are, and then developing the strategies for them to use to go after those markets. I have two requests for people. I have like two different asks. Number one, does anybody know where I could find statistics on who listens to podcasts? I'm trying to find podcasts that college students listen to specifically. If anybody knows where I can get that information. I'm working with a startup that is targeting the college market for food delivery. And so we're trying to figure out, and they rate food as well. So they're sort of taking on Yelp and whatnot, but at a lower cost. So I'm trying to figure out what they want to advertise on podcasting as one venue. And so trying to figure that out. The other one is a totally different story. I'm talking to a company. This is more or less it's a prospect that is in the senior market. And has anybody ever heard of the company called Hank, H-A-N-K?
I think I may have. Tell us more about it.
It's a company it's an online company that helps older adults with activities, and it helps them keep their independence. They'll deliver food. It has exercise classes, online training. It'll help them get cleaning people into their homes. I'm talking to them tomorrow, but I just don't know. I never heard of them before, but their website's kind of sparse. It's gethank.com.
I don't know, Victor, you were in that space for a little while. I don't know if you ever heard of them. But
yeah, I've not heard of them. They're a startup?
Yeah, they are.
Okay. No, let me see if I think of anybody who might be helpful, I'll let you know, because I know it's a tough space.
Yeah, I could see that. I already have like about 1,000 questions already just after what happened with my wife's mother. Just having had experience with that, I wonder how this is going to deal with it, because senior people can't use the computer, and they're more or less trying to target the caregivers or the children of the adults, or the senior citizens. So that's who they're trying to target. But I'm not sure whether that. I don't know. I'm talking with them tomorrow, so I'm just trying to figure out if anybody ever heard of them.
And with respect to the podcast information, I know somebody who specializes in producing podcasts, David Hoffman. I don't know if he is aware of where to get demographic
I need
information.
analytics. Yeah, that's really what I'm looking for. But okay.
Yeah, he might. All
Are
right.
you looking for a list of podcasts that target students?
Yeah, that's really what I'm trying to identify.
I dropped a list of 15 in the chat.
Oh, okay, great. Oh, best college. Okay, I see it. Thanks. Where did you get that? Or did you just do a search?
Just tickled Google.
Okay, that's what I've been doing, but it's like, I'm just trying to see if I could have more analytics to back it up. Okay, thanks.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know if there's any organization that tracks actual, like Nielsen for podcasts.
Well, there is, but I just I don't have access to it. And I contacted Spotify, but you have to wait for them to get back to you. So
Right.
anyway.
All right. So Victor, you're up.
Thanks, Michael. The only other thought I have for you, Ken, is like maybe if you call up an ad agency and tell them you want to advertise to students and say,
Yeah,
and maybe they'll cough up the info.
yeah, I thought of that too, but
Okay,
but I'm just trying to see what I can get in the meantime. But okay,
Sure.
thanks.
sure. Okay, that's fine. But you're otherwise ahead of your time, Ken, because in 2 weeks, right, it's going to be the end of daylight savings time, and then it will be good evening by by 5:30. So I'm Victor Lee. I think I've met everybody on this call, and I had a great conversation with everybody except, of course, Allison. But I do like, as Michael said, I think it's a great networking group, and you make lots of great, terrific connections. And I just want to point out to Bryce that maybe if Bryce wasn't in Vancouver, his cat and I could have a play date. But that'll probably be a little tough to arrange unless the cats want to have a virtual play date. So what I do is I'm really all about making connections for fun and profit, is the way I look at it. So I'm working with two different kinds of companies, what I call foxes and hedgehogs. And I was having a call earlier today with Andrew Schultkind, one of our members who's not on the call, but Andrew was a philosophy major in college. So, and this concept of foxes and hedgehogs was dreamed up by some Greek philosopher, thousands of years ago, and people are still arguing to this day what it means. But the way I'm applying it is that, you may have heard the expression, foxes know many things and hedgehogs know one big thing. So I look for hedgehogs, it's actually companies that do something really, really well and are very distinctive. So for example, I regard everybody on this call as a hedgehog, right? You all have your specialties and you're all very good at what you do. So then what I do with the hedgehogs is I often try to find, clients for them. Basically, I'm a freelance business developer in that sense. So I've had terrific conversations, I think, with everybody, just about everybody on the call. Rajiv and I are chasing a bunch of things. Bryce and I are chasing a bunch of things. And so I'm trying to, find clients for those folks. And then on the Fox side, I often tell people about the projects I'm pursuing to see if they have any suggestions for potential clients. And so I guess I regard everybody on this call as a fox as well, in that you're all fundamentally super connectors. So Rajiv has found some interesting potential clients for me. I've had similar conversations with Ken, especially in the elder space. And I had a terrific phone call just this morning with Rochelle, who has found an opportunity for one of the projects that I'm really pursuing right now. So the particular opportunity I'm chasing is to help groups, companies, organizations who are facing the prospect of a second year with their holiday events on Zoom. And how do you keep everybody entertained and keep everybody from dreading showing up for these Zoom calls? So the client in this case is a former journalist who's created a terrific program of trivia. And so it's very entertaining. So on a Zoom call, the way Michael is the host here, he'll be the host of the event. and so he has a format to ask interesting pop culture-y questions. You know, who was the dentist on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? And so he does, and he tailors the questions to the age, the demographics, the gender skew, and so on of the group. And then he also, makes it sort of, fun and entertaining. One of the things, when I first came across this, I thought it was interesting, but kind of, lightweight, if you will. I could say it among this group, but his biggest client is Google. His second biggest client is Morgan Stanley. So there are companies out there that have money and need to keep their employees engaged and motivated, even when everybody's working remotely. So, for example, the opportunity that Rochelle found, is in the nonprofit space. So, they're those, as I think someone was saying earlier, maybe it was you, Michael. All these organizations need ways to reach employees, customers, contributors, and all these other people. And the best way to do it is, let's face it, is to make people laugh. So it's a terrifically interesting and amusing opportunity I'm chasing. I'm happy to discuss it with anybody who might have some ideas, and look forward to working with everybody on this call. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, if you send me a blurb, all of my 3 kids, 2 of them work for bigger companies, and they might know some people
Perfect.
who are planning some parties.
Thanks,
Even my third, who works for a small company, it's possible they might be doing something. I don't know, but
Sure.
if you send me a little blurb,
Great.
I will forward it to them.
Thanks.
Okay, Howard, then Rochelle, then Keith.
Great. Could I do a screen share?
Sure. Hold on. Let me give you the advanced sharing options. Okay, you should be able to do it.
All right. Let's see. All right, so I'll share a really quick example of our client Life Moves, which runs, it's an organization that helps people who are homeless. They operate in Silicon Valley, and they run 26 facilities that have housing, supportive housing to help people get back on their feet and then into more permanent housing. So they run this Ride to End Homelessness. We're on retainer to do all of their fundraising. We didn't do anything for their event last year, but this year they asked us to. So we came in and reinvigorated the brand. We created a new logo and visual identity, so they have more recognition in the area. So it's this visual pun of the rider doubling as a house to indicate the name Ride to End Homelessness. We created marketing materials they could put out in their community to promote the event. And then at the event, we produced some materials. It's like a large banner, a 7-foot banner they could hold. We created this, I completed poster that they could hold up and take photos of. The riders could take photos of themselves after the ride. And things like creating a t-shirt they can get as swag for the event. And then we even dove into the details of the ride in terms of cue sheets for the riders, and really reinvented those and created new symbols and make it much more easy, and really elevated the level of the ride. They had four different routes. This is the shortest one. Largest was 100. 65 is so in any case, they last year they had raised 40,000. This year they had raised over 200,000. They got a lot of corporate partners involved. They got a renewed commitment from their lead sponsor for this year. They're working on renewing other ones, and they had a great turnout, over 200 riders. I think people were just kind of glad to get out and ride, and they renewed enthusiasm for the organization, and set them on a trajectory for more positive outcomes next year with the ride.
So cool. You got 40 seconds left if you want to.
So that's one example of what we do is fundraising. I'll stick to that. We do marketing and brand strategies. You can kind of see that's all integrated, into this idea. If you know of any organization that's looking to raise their visibility or raise their revenue, that'd be a great client for us.
Absolutely.
Company is Red Rooster Group. Wake up your brand.
And that's I love the logo there with the bike in the house.
Howard, quick question. Do you guys help the brands with fundraising?
We do.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, it's the marketing work that supports fundraising. I think,
Well, we do.
right?
I mean, this is one example of an event, but we do where we write the actual appeals. Right now, we're doing Life Moves annual appeal. So we're writing the physical direct mail package, we're writing the 6 different emails that are going to go out, every week. So we're doing those types of things as well.
So like for this non-for-profit, are they sending it any, because I mean, non-for-profits still make a lot of their money on, when you send them a card and whatever, and people write them a check. Do you do a lot of that did you do it for this particular event? Or when you said they raised 200,000, was that from the ride? I mean, how did they raise that money?
Oh, that was a combination of the riders raising money and corporate sponsorship for the event.
And sponsorship. So you didn't send out those cards and say, write me a check. Do you do a lot of those? Go ahead.
Yeah, we do. Their other wasn't for this event, but for their annual appeal, which we're working on now. That's what we're doing. It's a direct mail package, so it's a physical letter, and then it's the which is kind of a version of. So it'll be a physical letter. There's going to be a reply card on here. There's going to be a brochure, colored brochure that goes in this piece, and there's little note cards they could customize, messages, and then there'll be emails in conjunction with that as part of the campaign.
Right.
Driving to a landing page, which we're designing as well, and the other social media support for it as well.
Out of curiosity, do you know how much fundraising they're still getting? Because I still think that most of their dollars still come from those direct mail packages. Or do you know what the numbers of that? Has it shifted like 50-50? Is it 50? Is it 80%?
Every organization is totally different. I mean, some are doing really well with direct mail, and some organizations mostly digital. So, you typically the older audiences, the older organizations are well established. Audiences and donor lists have been doing direct mail for decades, are doing well with that, and younger organizations relying more on digital, on email and social media.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So Rochelle, you are up.
I'm up. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, it's Rochelle, and I always say it's from dynamic business growth and not schlep along business growth. And what I find is that a lot of companies have a very, very hard time discussing what they do in a way that's compelling and exciting. Very often they put a size 10 foot of information in a size 6 shoe. And the only thing you walk around, the only thing that causes is blisters, boredom, and, let me tune out. And it's especially dangerous if you're in an industry that's common and especially boring. So like for insurance, I mean, when people talk about insurance, great client of mine, he says he does life insurance, disability insurance, long-term care, and he's concerned that people don't want to talk to him. So you want to wake up and have a meeting with him because I'm going to drop dead, I'm broke, and I'm going to go into a long care facility. So who wants to have a conversation around that? And we got to switch it. So my thought is, how do we talk about our business so that it is compelling, so that people say, let's have a conversation, and pretty please tell me more. So I work with companies to revamp the way they speak about their business. On the short term, it could be a very sexy elevator pitch that can be expanded into a presentation. I've done a lot of work with sales decks because most sales decks, they start with themselves. My name is John Smith. I work in Midtown Manhattan. I've been doing this for 25 years, and my response is I couldn't care less. So how do we tell a compelling story so that the people are only going to say, pretty please tell me more? So converting these dull, boring, long-winded conversations into compelling, emotional stories is where I've been doing some of my best work. So that's what I'd like to focus on right now. Again, a lot of people have a very hard time talking about what they do. So how's that, short and sweet?
That was exactly 2 minutes. Anybody have any questions for Rochelle?
Yeah,
Rajiv.
so I have a question. Rochelle, you had mentioned earlier that you were doing like some kind of a class or something
Coming up, I've delayed it. I've had some personal stuff. So it's coming up. I will be having a class. It's going to be an online group course. It's going to be called The Ultimate Power Pitch, where over 6 weeks, I'm going to break down. And it's going to be a do it with you program where I will actually be doing the languaging for the pitches. So when we're ready to rock, I'll definitely get in touch with you. I can't wait to do it. I mean, I love doing this. I love revamping people's pitches. It kind of makes my day. So I'll get back to you, and thank you for asking.
Sure.
I just
Thank you.
wanted to say thank you, Rochelle, for all your feedback on the last meeting. It was really, really helpful.
With pleasure.
Yeah, Keith did a presentation and was asking for feedback, and that's Rochelle's area of expertise. So that was collaboration in real time. Keith Reynolds, you're up.
Yeah, can I share my screen?
You can.
So coming out of that, I just wanted to share with you what we've done. In the last week, we've released a podcast. I've got 5 interviews in the can. I'm focusing on CEOs, entrepreneurs, business owners who are using media to drive their thought leadership and their leads. This is the CEO of the Stanford Symphony. It's about a $2 million organization. I'm on the board of the Stanford Symphony, and we're in the middle of a fundraise. We're shooting for $5 million, and this past weekend we raised $285,000. And I interviewed Russell Jones, and it's content on our blog, but it's also out on Spotify. All right, welcome. I'm Keith Reynolds. This is the Publio podcast. So we got that launched. We've revamped our website completely. We're growing from bespoke content strategy, the podcast I just mentioned. And what I'm really excited about is that we've put a masterclass online using a platform called Kajabi. And Michael, you're also familiar with Incaptive, and we've integrated these 2 platforms so that in the masterclass, it is already a member. And when I log into the masterclass, there are, you may remember that the method that I'm teaching has 7 buckets. North Star idea, your editorial strategy, how do you publish and promote your content? What community and events do you integrate your content into? What marketing automation do you use? The sales model, how do you get your money from this? And lastly, for your investment, what's your return? And by walking executives through those 7 questions, I've been very successful over the last 7 or 8 years, getting people to quickly consolidate a content strategy that they can execute on, and they have certainty that they think they can get something out of it. I've also developed worksheets, and all 15 of the worksheets are online. Every one of these is the same format. There's a video that you can watch, workbooks for you, as well as a ROI calculator, and then additional content below is still being built out. But in this case, for example, here's an example of the worksheet for developing personas and VNV. Ultimately, I see this as being a SaaS program, but we're 1 step at a time. And let's see. Then the last thing I wanted to show you is, unlike most of these courses, we can, oh, come on. Unlike most of these courses, there we go. We have an online learning center, and there's a little bit about the online learning center. And then we can enter that. Still working on the UI, but basically you're able to click into a virtual space where we can host office hours and one-on-one meetings, as well as guest presentations, and build a community. And we're using this local entrepreneur called Incaptive that has a leaderboard with all the activities that are going on, the agenda of things that are live right now. We're renaming expo booths to office hours, and anyone that's on my team or guests can host office hours within the platform. And then everybody can have offers that are online as well. And so being able to come in and find somebody during office hours when you've gone through a video and you have a question, we're there to help, kind of like the Genius Bar for content strategy. And I've been working for 4 months on this. Rochelle, you really sort of helped kick us off as we went over from build to promote. And that's my journey now for the next several months. And I just signed up my first class participant, first learner for $1,000 this afternoon. So
So is it
congratulations.
going to be an online platform? And is that what the company's doing right now? Is that they're building an online, let's say an educational where anybody can learn how to become marketers?
that's correct.
Okay,
It's
so
not
you're
learn
not
how to
doing
be a marketer. It's learn how it's it's a practical, kind of like your workshop. We will help you and guide you over a period of 90 days to develop your content strategy. So unlike HubSpot or SEMrush or many of these big tech companies, they offer generic training or training about how to click around their software. This is, what is your idea? How do we turn that into thought leadership? Who's your audience? What content is going to connect with them? How are you going to make money at it? What marketing automation do you need? So it's very practical and about you.
So that's going to be like a do-it-yourself program that people can do it themselves. Then you'll have office hours where people will have questions.
Right. It's basically $1,500 to get access to all the materials lifetime. And then you get 90 days of access to the Learning Center and 3 one-on-one sessions. Additional sessions are $500. And you can also continue in the Learning Center after you're done if you find it to be a good network and a supportive environment.
That's great. Congratulations. All right. I haven't missed anybody other than myself, right? Okay. Then.
Yeah, you missed me.
Bryce, how did that happen?
I was laughing as soon as you posted the order.
Okay, Bryce, you're up.
Okay, I'll just share my screen really briefly. And so sorry at the beginning, everybody, I was on a call, but I'll just briefly smash through this because it's pretty cool. So this is at the beginning of the year, I was talking a lot about Ad Cannibal. One of the things that like just helps big companies or any size of company that spends more than $50,000 a month on SEM save a bunch of money. And so I'll give you a couple of really good examples because I'm talking to these companies right now. So this is the ASU, which is Arizona State University. They spend roughly $3 million a month in SEM. And I did a scan of them. And so we can basically save them 10% a month, or about $300,000 in monthly spend that can be redeployed into either more keywords or other growth opportunities. So we charge 33% of whatever we save the company. So the company that in question is always going to be ahead of this game if they use this. And just as another quick example, I did a scan of Wayfair a while ago as well. They were spending about $6 million a month at the time. They're spending about $10 million a month right now. And it's actually probably more than that because this is just an external scan. We can save them about 2.5%, which is still 250 grand a month. So if you know anybody that spends, more than $50,000 a month on SEM, we can help them out. Just save some money. We take a percentage, and anybody that sends business my way, I will give you a referral and a percentage of that spend in infinitum, or whatever that saying is.
Ad infinitum.
Ad infinitum. That's the one. Exactly. Exactly. So that's one thing. One of the other things that we're doing right now is we took on a consulting aspect of the business, because one of the things in marketing is, depending on the size of the state of the business, they basically say, hey, we'd love to do this, but we don't have the resources, capital, team, whatever to do whatever they want to do. So we basically took on a consulting aspect of our business to help those companies find that money within their existing business. And so I'd like to offer everybody an opportunity to get an idea of what that is. We're doing essentially a bi-weekly event that runs at 8:30 to 10 PST. So that is 11:30 to 1 if that math is right. EST. Everybody's welcome. I will post a link. If anybody's interested, please let me know. Basically, it's just to make a company more profitable by 1 or 2% in a whole bunch of different aspects of the business. And what we've done for other businesses, just to give a quick example, we have a roofing company that's about $30 million a year. One question that we asked them, which was basically, hey, what do you guys do? Which was, hey, we want to do more commercial roofing. We asked one of the people in their business and said, what do you guys do? And they're storm chasers. And so essentially, they told their entire company, hey, we're commercial roofers now, talk to all of our clients. They basically added $2 million to their bottom line revenue because their entire company knew that what they were doing, and there was clarity within that. So we essentially ask a bunch of dirty questions about the business, improve profitability by 1 or 2% all over the business, and it can find some pretty significant amounts of money. So if anybody's interested in what that process looks like, please let me know and I'll give you an invite. It's free.
That's very cool. Thank you very much. If you
If I
want,
could just add, one of the things that was not in Bryce's repertoire today was his deep knowledge on artificial intelligence. And I was lucky enough to get him on our podcast. I think it's dropping next week or the following week. And really appreciate your support and also your thought leadership, Bryce.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. It was really fun, and I'm looking forward to helping you guys out because it's a really cool podcast.
wonderful. Okay, I haven't missed anybody else. Sorry, Bryce. I'm glad you spoke up. I've decided to do this before I go because I have missed people. I see you were not in the original list, so that's a good time to speak up as well. So I will go, put timer on. As you know, my name is Michael Bendit. Allison, welcome. So besides running this network, which I founded about, 18 months ago or so, I also have a business called Software Development Resources, which, as the name implies, provides software development resources, people that do programming, half of which is for marketing applications, which is why I do a lot of networking in the marketing space. We work very well with agencies, specifically digital marketing agencies that don't always have those resources, the programming resources in-house, or even if they have some resources in-house, they either are too busy. In other words, those people have more than they can handle, so they need to outsource some of the overflow work, or something comes their way that they just don't have the skill set for in-house. And since there are so many different technologies and platforms, there's a good chance that something like that will show up on their transom. Couple of projects that I'm working on right now. I just got a request from an agency to convert some static websites to WordPress. It's a straight conversion using the same design, and we were able to quote them a really competitive price of $2,500. We're working on a contest site for a professional hair care brand. This is a brand that sells to beauty shops, and they just went public. So the Squarespace version of their contest, which they've been using in the past, did not pass the security threshold. So they want to move to WordPress, and we're helping them build that. And that was also pretty inexpensive, only $5,000. There may be some more because they want to do some security audits on it to make sure that it's not vulnerable. And so if there's additional costs associated with cleaning that up, we will charge them on an hourly basis. And another one that came in this week is another agency out in California that is launching a sanitizer product brand for a high-end restroom equipment company. So things like hand dryers with UV inside that kills the germs before the air blows on your hands. And also in the same way, sort of filtering the air and killing all the germs in the air. Obviously, that is something that is relevant and of interest in the time of COVID. Best leads for me are agencies, small agencies up to, let's say, 20, 25 people that do digital work that could use some extra help with their programming. We really focus on the technical side and leave the strategy and the design and the advertising strategy, all that stuff up to the agency. We're really focused on the technical side, sort of building the engine in the car, which the car being the entire marketing program. So Allison, if you are interested in perhaps joining, let me know. You can reach out to me either on the website or now would be a good time to drop your LinkedIn into the chat. And I see a number of people have already done that. So Allison will know who's on the call. Also, Allison, you can go to our YouTube channel, and I record all of these meetings, and we have meetings for the past year and a half on the site, including the showcases.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely. So I will go back to gallery mode. We have a couple of minutes. Any other comments, questions? Oh, by the way, you all probably are aware of the new, maybe not. I added a new menu item on trustref.net. It is a list of marketing conferences in North America through sometime 2003. And also there's it includes a link specifically for those that are virtual, and of course the TRN meetings. So use that as a resource, and share it with your friends. Anybody who wants to have a bookmark of conferences, marketing conferences in North America, you'll find it under events.